Indiana, known for its peaceful farmlands and small towns, hides a dark and mysterious side filled with haunted places and ghostly legends. From abandoned hospitals and eerie cemeteries to old mansions and haunted bridges, the Hoosier State is full of spine-chilling stories that have frightened visitors for generations. Many believe restless spirits still linger, replaying their tragic pasts. Let's explore the most haunted places in Indiana, where history and horror come alive. Now we will visit the most haunted places in Indiana. Number 1. Indiana State Sanatorium. The Indiana State Sanatorium, located near Rockville, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier State. Built in the early 1900s as a tuberculosis hospital, it once echoed with the cries of suffering patients and the hurried footsteps of nurses. Now abandoned, the building stands silent and cold, surrounded by misty woods. Its long, dark corridors, peeling walls, and rusted equipment make it feel as though time itself has stopped within its haunted walls. Many visitors claim to see the spirit of a nurse who still walks the halls, caring for invisible patients. Late at night, the soft creak of her shoes and the faint sound of coughing echo through the empty wards. Others have reported seeing lights flicker in the windows, as if the hospital were still alive with activity. Some witnesses tell of a patient who tried to escape through a window but met a tragic end. Even now, as pain screams are said to be heard on windy nights, along with the sound of glass shattering. Near the old morgue, paranormal investigators often hear whispering voices and metallic clinks, as if the tools are being used again by unseen hands. In the former doctor's office, a shadowy figure has been seen sitting by the window, smoking a cigar. Locals believe it's the spirit of the hospital's head physician, who ended his life after years of losing patients. Sometimes, the faint smell of tobacco drifts through the air without explanation. Those brave enough to enter the patient rooms at night claim they hear names being whispered and see ghostly shapes moving in the corners. Strange glowing lights also appear on the grounds after midnight, believed to be the restless souls of those who never found peace. Number 2. Willard Library. Willard Library in Evansville, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier State. Built in 1885, this grand Gothic-style library is known for its impressive architecture and its ghostly resident known as the Gray Lady. The peaceful halls, filled with old books, and the scent of aged paper hide a chilling secret. Many visitors, staff, and even security guards have experienced eerie encounters that have made the library a center of paranormal attention for decades. One of the most famous hauntings involves the appearance of the Gray Lady herself. She is often seen floating through the library's halls, especially in the basement and the children's reading room. Her misty gray figure glides silently, sometimes turning to look at startled witnesses before vanishing into thin air. Employees have reported cold spots that appear suddenly, even during the heat of summer. The temperature drops sharply, and a soft perfume fills the air, a scent said to belong to the Gray Lady when she was alive. In the basement, security cameras have captured flickering lights, swinging doors, and floating orbs that seem to follow people around. Some staff members have refused to enter alone after hearing faint whispers calling their names. A librarian once felt a gentle touch on her shoulder, but when she turned around, no one was there. She later learned that many others had experienced the same ghostly gesture in that exact spot. Another story tells of books flying off the shelves late at night, landing neatly in the center of the floor, as if the spirit was trying to send a message. Visitors also claim that mirrors in the library sometimes reflect ghostly figures that disappear when looked at directly. Willard Library remains a fascinating mix of knowledge, history, and haunting mystery. Number 3. Indianapolis Athletic Club. The Indianapolis Athletic Club, located in downtown Indianapolis, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier State. Built in 1924 as a luxurious gathering place for athletes, politicians, and wealthy residents, it was once full of life, laughter, and celebration. But beneath its grand chandeliers and elegant halls lies a dark past that has left behind restless spirits and unexplained happenings. Today, the building, now partly converted into residences, remains a hotspot for eerie encounters and paranormal activity. One of the most famous hauntings comes from a tragic fire that broke out in 1992. 3 firefighters lost their lives trying to rescue people trapped inside. Visitors and residents claim to hear their heavy boots and muffled voices echoing in the hallways at night, as if they are still on duty searching for survivors. Strange noises often come from the old gym area. Basketballs bouncing, locker doors slamming, and faint whistles, even though the room stands empty. Some believe the spirits of former athletes still return to play the games they once loved. In the ballroom, people have seen a man in a tuxedo dancing alone under the soft glow of the chandeliers. He vanishes when approached, leaving behind the faint sound of old jazz music. Guests have also reported seeing smoke appear in the stairwells where the deadly fire once burned. Yet no source of heat or flame can be found. The smell of burning wood often follows. One resident claimed to see a ghostly firefighter standing at the window, staring into the street below before fading away. Elevators sometimes move on their own, stopping at random floors with no passengers inside. The Indianapolis Athletic Club remains a place where history and tragedy linger, forever haunted by those who never left. Number 4. Lake County Jail and Old Courthouse. The Lake County Jail and Old Courthouse in Crown Point, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Built in the late 1800s, this historic structure once held some of the most dangerous criminals in Indiana's history, including the infamous outlaw John Dillinger, who escaped from it in 1934. Though now partly used as a museum, the building still carries the weight of pain, punishment, and restless spirits that refuse to leave. Its stone walls echo with ghostly whispers from a dark past. Many visitors claim to see the ghost of John Dillinger himself walking through the corridors. His shadowy figure appears near his old cell, sometimes smiling before fading away. People say they can hear the faint rattle of keys and footsteps following them down the hallway. In the old courtroom, security guards have reported hearing the sound of a judge's gavel striking the bench, though the room is empty. Some even hear faint arguments and weeping, as if trials from long ago are still being replayed. Down in the jail cells, strange cold spots appear suddenly, and the sound of metal doors slamming echoes through the halls. Paranormal teams have recorded cries, moans, and the sound of chains dragging across the floor. Several witnesses have seen a woman in old-fashioned clothing wandering the upper floors. She is believed to be the spirit of a jailer's wife who once lived there and died tragically. Another haunting tale tells of a ghostly guard who still makes his nightly rounds, checking the cells and whispering orders. In the basement, shadowy figures dart across the walls, and the temperature drops sharply. The Lake County Jail and Old Courthouse remain frozen in time, haunted by those who never truly escaped. Number 5. St. Mary's College. St. Mary's College in Notre, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Founded in the 1840s by the Sisters of the Holy Cross, this historic women's college has a peaceful appearance by day, but when night falls, it becomes a place of eerie whispers and ghostly encounters. With its old stone buildings, candlelit chapels, and quiet corridors, the campus holds chilling stories that have been passed down for generations by students and staff. Many believe the most famous ghost is a young nun who drowned in the nearby lake. Her spirit, known as the Lady in White, is often seen walking along the water's edge, her pale figure glowing softly in the moonlight. Witnesses say she seems to be searching for something or someone lost long ago. In one dormitory, students often hear footsteps pacing above them, even though the floor above is empty. Lights flicker, doors open by themselves, and soft prayers can be heard in the darkness. The chapel is another haunted spot. Late at night, organ music sometimes plays on its own, echoing through the halls. Some believe it's the spirit of a devoted nun who continues her nightly worship from beyond the grave. One terrifying story tells of a student who woke to find her blankets being pulled off by unseen hands. When she screamed, the room grew icy cold, and the crucifix on her wall fell to the floor. Others have seen ghostly figures dressed in 19th century habits gliding through the hallways during exam week, offering comfort, or perhaps warning. In the oldest building, strange shadows move against the walls without any light source. St. Mary's College remains a sacred yet haunted place, where faith and fear intertwine in haunting harmony. Number 6. Fox Hollow Farm. Fox Hollow Farm in Westfield, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Hidden among rolling fields and quiet woods, the grand red brick house looks peaceful from a distance, but its dark history makes it one of the most terrifying spots in the Midwest. Once the home of serial killer Herb Baumeister, the property became the scene of unthinkable horrors in the 1990s. Dozens of men vanished, and later, human bones were discovered scattered around the estate. Ever since, strange and frightening events have been reported by those brave enough to visit. People who live nearby claim to see shadowy figures moving through the woods at night, often near the spot where the remains were found. These figures vanish when approached, leaving only an icy chill in the air. Inside the mansion, guests have described hearing footsteps echoing in empty rooms, doors creaking open by themselves, and faint whispers calling their names. Some say the ghost of Baumeister himself roams the halls, forever trapped by his own evil deeds. One visitor reported seeing a pale man standing by the indoor pool where many believed some of the murders took place. When she looked again, he had vanished, leaving ripples across the still water. Another terrifying encounter happened in the garage, where an unseen force slammed the door shut behind a paranormal investigator, trapping him inside. He later said he felt a cold hand on his shoulder before the lights went out. In the woods, eerie laughter and cries for help have been heard late at night, believed to be the spirits of Baumeister's victims still seeking peace. Even today, Fox Hollow Farm stands as a chilling reminder of true horror. Its haunting energy, a dark echo of the lives lost within its walls. Number 7. Crown Hill Cemetery. Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Spanning over 500 acres, it is one of the largest cemeteries in the United States and the final resting place of more than 200,000 souls, including famous politicians, soldiers, and outlaws. By day, its winding paths and towering monuments create a peaceful atmosphere. But when night falls, a deep sense of unease takes over. Many believe Crown Hill is home to restless spirits who refuse to rest in peace. One of the most famous ghosts is that of a woman known as the Lady in Blue. Visitors often see her wandering among the gravestones, weeping softly. Her blue gown glows faintly under the moonlight before she disappears into the fog, believed to be searching for her lost husband, who never returned from war. Near the Gothic chapel, strange lights are said to flicker inside even when it's locked and empty. Security guards have reported hearing organ music playing at midnight, followed by the echo of footsteps climbing the stairs. Another chilling tale surrounds the grave of infamous gangster John Dillinger. His grave attracts thrill seekers, many of whom claim to feel a sudden cold wind and hear mocking laughter coming from the shadows. Visitors walking along the Soldiers Hill section often hear marching footsteps, muffled voices, and the metallic clink of rifles, echoes of fallen soldiers reliving their final moments. Some witnesses tell of ghostly children seen playing between headstones before vanishing suddenly when approached. Their faint laughter lingers long after they're gone. At the cemetery's highest point, where the city skyline is visible, people have seen dark shapes standing silently, watching over the graves. Crown Hill Cemetery remains a haunting blend of beauty, sorrow, and the supernatural. Number 8. James Allison Mansion. The James Allison Mansion in Indianapolis, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Built in the early 1900s by automobile pioneer James Allison, this elegant mansion on the campus of Marian University hides dark secrets behind its grand staircase and marble halls. What was once a symbol of luxury and innovation has become a place of eerie silence, ghostly sightings, and chilling whispers that echo through the corridors long after midnight. One of the most famous stories tells of a young girl who drowned in the mansion's basement pool many years ago. Her ghost is said to linger there, playing and giggling softly. Visitors sometimes hear splashes of water, though the pool has been drained for decades. Several staff members have reported seeing shadowy figures standing in the hallways when they close up at night. When they turn on the lights, the figures vanish instantly, leaving behind a cold rush of air. Students who pass by the mansion at night claim to see a woman in old-fashioned clothing gazing out from the upper windows. She is believed to be the spirit of a former maid who died in the house under mysterious circumstances. In the dining room, strange knocks and the clinking of glassware are often heard during the early hours, as if an invisible dinner party is still taking place. Another terrifying story involves the attic, where footsteps and soft crying can be heard, though no one is ever found. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained voices calling out for help. Lights flicker, doors slam, and cold spots appear without warning throughout the house. The James Allison mansion stands as a chilling reminder that even the most beautiful homes can hide restless spirits within their walls. Number 9. Whispers Estate. Whispers Estate in Mitchell, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Built in the early 1900s, this Victorian-style home appears charming from the outside, but within its walls lies a dark and chilling history. Over the years, it has been the site of death, tragedy, and unexplained phenomena that have earned it its eerie name, because visitors often hear whispers following them wherever they go. The house has become a magnet for paranormal investigators, each leaving with terrifying tales. One of the most famous spirits said to haunt the estate is that of a young girl named Rachel, who died in a fire inside the house. Her ghostly laughter and the smell of burning wood often fill the air, and some guests have claimed to see her small figure running through the hallway before vanishing into smoke. In the master bedroom, many people have felt the bed shaking violently or heard heavy breathing beside them when no one else was there. Others have seen the imprint of a body appear on the mattress as if an unseen person had just lain down. The second-floor bathroom is notorious for sudden cold drafts and a woman's voice sobbing softly. Locals believe it's the ghost of the lady of the house, mourning the children she lost. Doors slam on their own, and mirrors fog up with strange handprints. Some visitors even claim to hear their names whispered directly into their ears. One chilling story tells of a guest being scratched by unseen claws after mocking the spirits. The staircase is another hotspot. Creaks, footsteps, and faint childlike giggles echo in the dark. Whispers Estate lives up to its name, a house filled with secrets, sorrow, and voices from beyond the grave. Number 10. French Lick Springs Hotel. The French Lick Springs Hotel in French Lick, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Built in the mid-1800s, this grand and luxurious resort once attracted wealthy visitors seeking healing from the nearby mineral springs. Beneath its beauty and charm, however, lies a history filled with tragedy, death, and unexplainable supernatural encounters. Guests and employees alike have reported strange sights and eerie sounds that suggest the hotel is home to more than just vacationers. One of the most famous ghosts said to haunt the hotel is Thomas Taggart, the former owner. Known for his love of the property, Taggart is believed to have never truly left. Guests claim to see his spirit riding a phantom horse through the hallways or smelling cigar smoke from nowhere. His favorite pastime when alive. The Grand Ballroom is another haunted hotspot. Late at night, soft music begins to play, and the faint sound of dancing footsteps echoes across the polished floor, even though the room is empty. Some visitors have glimpsed elegant couples from another era waltzing in the moonlight before fading into shadows. In one of the guest rooms, travelers have felt an unseen presence sitting on the edge of the bed or brushing against their hair as they sleep. Cold spots often appear suddenly, and lights flicker on and off without reason. Housekeepers tell of hearing their names whispered or feeling taps on their shoulders when no one is behind them. The old service elevator is another source of mystery. It moves on its own, doors opening and closing as if summoned by invisible guests. Near the pool area, ghostly laughter and splashes can be heard long after closing hours. The French Lick Springs Hotel remains a timeless blend of beauty and lingering spirits. Number 11. Central State Hospital. Central State Hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana, is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful Hoosier state. Originally opened in 1848 as the Indiana Hospital for the Insane, it was once home to thousands of mentally ill patients. Over the years, stories of mistreatment, tragic deaths, and cruel experiments turned this massive institution into a place of horror and despair. Though closed in the 1990s, the crumbling buildings and underground tunnels remain filled with eerie silence and something far darker. Visitors and paranormal investigators report hearing screams and moans echoing from empty wards. Some say these are the cries of patients who suffered under brutal treatments like electric shocks and ice baths. The sounds often come late at night, when the wind is still and no one else is near. In one of the old patient wings, shadowy figures have been seen pacing back and forth, as if trapped in endless loops of pain and confusion. When approached, they vanish into thin air, leaving behind the faint scent of disinfectant. The hospital's morgue is one of its most terrifying spots. Cold drafts sweep through the room, drawers rattle, and voices whisper softly, naming patients long forgotten. Some have even reported feeling a cold hand touch their shoulder as they tried to leave. One nurse's spirit is said to wander the halls, still trying to care for her long-dead patients. Her footsteps echo softly, and sometimes a faint lullaby can be heard, as if she's trying to calm the restless souls. In the underground tunnels, glowing orbs float through the darkness, and disembodied laughter bounces off the walls. Visitors often leave with headaches, nausea, or a deep sense of sadness, as if the building itself absorbs their fear. Central State Hospital remains a chilling reminder of suffering and spirits that never found peace. Number 12. University of Notre Dame. The University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, is not just known for its academic excellence and football legends, it's also one of the most haunted places in the state. Behind the grand Gothic architecture and peaceful campus lies a dark collection of ghostly legends that have terrified students and staff for decades. The first haunting centers around Washington Hall, one of the oldest buildings on campus. Students claim to hear footsteps echoing in empty corridors late at night. Believed to belong to George Gipp, the famous football player who died young. His ghost reportedly knocks on dorm doors and whispers encouragement before big games. Another terrifying story comes from the Basilica of the Sacred Heart, where visitors have seen the ghostly figure of a praying nun. Some say she was buried under the church and wanders at night, her rosary beads clicking in the silence. In Sorin Hall, students tell of a shadowy priest who appears by candlelight, blessing sleeping residents. He is said to be the ghost of Father Sorin, the university's founder, watching over the place he built even after death. The Lafferton Student Center holds another mystery. A young woman dressed in 19th century clothing has been spotted crying near the stairwells. Legend says she was a student who took her life after a failed romance. At Kavanaugh Hall, lights flicker, doors slam, and laughter echoes when no one is around. Students believe it's the spirit of a mischievous former resident who died in a dorm fire. Finally, the Grotto of Our Lady of Lourdes carries an eerie peace at night. Witnesses claim to see glowing figures kneeling in prayer, vanishing when approached. The University of Notre Dame stands as a sacred yet spine-chilling reminder that even holy ground can harbor restless souls. Number 13. Indiana State Capitol Building. The Indiana State Capitol Building in Indianapolis, the heart of government and history, is also known as one of the most haunted places in the beautiful state of Indiana. Behind its elegant marble halls and grand dome lie chilling tales of spirits who never left the corridors of power. The first haunting dates back to the construction period in the late 1800s, when a worker fell from the dome to his death. Ever since, janitors and guards have heard heavy footsteps echoing from the upper levels at night, along with the sound of tools clattering, though no one is ever there. In the old Senate chambers, staff have seen a shadowy figure of a man in outdated clothing pacing the floor. Legend says he was a lawmaker who died suddenly before passing an important bill, and now his ghost continues his unfinished business. One of the eeriest encounters occurs in the governor's office, where people have reported sudden cold drafts, the faint scent of cigar smoke, and drawers opening on their own. Some say it's the spirit of a former governor who refused to leave his post even after death. In the basement tunnels, used long ago to move documents safely, guards have heard whispers and the rustle of papers, as if unseen workers are still hurrying to meet deadlines. The main staircase is another haunted spot, where a phantom woman in a Victorian gown has been seen gliding silently down the steps. Witnesses believe she's the ghost of a senator's wife who mysteriously died during a political event. Finally, the Capitol Rotunda holds the most terrifying energy. Lights flicker, and faint murmurs of debates from long ago fill the air. The Indiana State Capitol stands as a majestic symbol of power, yet beneath its beauty, the ghosts of history still walk its echoing halls. Number 14. Indiana Dunes State Park. Indiana Dunes State Park, located along the shimmering shores of Lake Michigan near Chesterton, may appear peaceful and beautiful, but beneath its golden sands lies one of the most haunted places in Indiana. Known for its breathtaking dunes and whispering waves, this beach hides the tragic legend of Diana of the Dunes, whose ghostly presence still roams the shoreline. The haunting beauty of this park turns chilling after sunset, as eerie stories come to life under the moonlit sky. The most famous spirit is Alice Mabel Grey, known as Diana of the Dunes. After abandoning city life in the early 1900s, she lived alone among the dunes until her mysterious death. Even today, her pale figure is seen running along the shoreline or bathing in the moonlit waves before disappearing into the mist. Many say her footsteps can be heard in the sand when the beach is empty. Another story tells of a drowned fisherman who still calls out for help. Locals have heard cries coming from the lake, but when they rush to assist, no one is there, only ripples on the dark water. At night, campers have reported a phantom lantern light bobbing near the dunes, believed to belong to a lost park ranger who vanished during a storm decades ago. Some visitors claim to have seen shadowy figures climbing the dunes at dawn, their outlines fading with the rising sun. Others hear whispering voices carried on the wind, speaking in tones that are neither human nor natural. The most terrifying tale speaks of cold hands grasping ankles in the shallows, as if unseen souls beneath the waves try to pull the living into their watery graves. Indiana dunes may be stunning by day, but at night, it's where beauty and the supernatural meet. Number 15. Indiana Medical History Museum. The Indiana Medical History Museum in Indianapolis stands as one of the eeriest landmarks in the beautiful state of Indiana. Once a part of the Central State Hospital for the Insane, this museum still carries the dark energy of its past. Many say that the spirits of doctors, patients, and experiment subjects who once filled these halls never truly left. The old laboratory rooms and autopsy chambers hold a chilling silence that makes even the bravest visitors shiver. Visitors have reported hearing unexplained whispers and footsteps echoing through the empty corridors, especially near the old surgical theater. Some have seen ghostly figures wearing outdated medical coats, moving quickly between rooms before fading into thin air. Late at night, the sound of surgical tools clinking and drawers opening by themselves adds to the museum's frightening reputation. One terrifying tale tells of a shadowy figure that lingers in the anatomical lab, where dissections once took place. Tour guides have also reported sudden drops in temperature and cold hands brushing against their shoulders when no one else was nearby. A few visitors even claimed to see glowing orbs floating near preserved medical specimens. Another horrifying story speaks of a spirit believed to be a young patient used in experiments long ago. She is said to weep softly in the corners of the pathology department, her cries blending with the wind. The old autopsy room is considered the most haunted spot, where strange lights flicker and ghostly faces appear in reflection glass. The Indiana Medical History Museum is not just a place of learning, it's a chilling reminder that some lessons from the past may never rest in peace. Number 16. Vigo County Historical Museum. The Vigo County Historical Museum in Notre is one of the most haunted places in the beautiful state of Indiana, filled with echoes of the past that refuse to fade. Housed in a century-old building, the museum holds countless artifacts from the region's history, each carrying its own mysterious energy. Many visitors believe these relics have awakened restless spirits who still linger within the museum walls, unable to move on from the stories they left behind. Staff members often report hearing footsteps on empty floors long after the museum closes. The sound of rustling dresses and quiet voices are heard near the exhibits, as if long-gone citizens of Notre are still wandering among their old belongings. Some visitors have even seen misty shapes standing beside antique displays before vanishing into the shadows. In the old parlor room, ghostly activity is particularly strong. Cold spots suddenly appear, lights flicker for no reason, and the scent of perfume fills the air, even when no one is present. The ghost of a woman in Victorian clothing is said to appear here, gently touching visitors' shoulders or gazing at them with sorrowful eyes before fading away. Downstairs, in the museum's storage area, staff claim to hear whispers and the sound of boxes shifting by unseen hands. Some believe it's the spirit of a former caretaker who still watches over the collection. In one terrifying account, a volunteer saw a shadowy figure glide past a glass display, its reflection clearly visible, though no one stood there. From ghostly whispers to mysterious cold breezes and eerie apparitions, the Vigo County Historical Museum stands as a chilling reminder that even history itself can haunt those who dare to explore it. Number 17. Willard Stokeley Mansion. The Willard Stokeley Mansion in Indianapolis is one of the most haunted and elegant landmarks in the beautiful state of Indiana. Built in the early 1900s, this grand estate once symbolized wealth and prestige, but behind its stunning architecture lies a darker, more chilling story. Many believe the mansion's former residents never truly left, and their restless spirits still roam the halls, keeping a ghostly watch over their once beloved home. Visitors often describe the mansion as eerily quiet, with sudden cold drafts sweeping through rooms even when all the windows are closed. Strange footsteps echo across marble floors at night, and chandeliers sway gently as if touched by invisible hands. Some guests have seen the ghostly figure of a man standing in the study, believed to be the original owner, observing the living with silent disapproval. One of the most terrifying tales tells of a woman in a flowing white gown who appears near the grand staircase. Witnesses claim she slowly descends the steps, her expression filled with sorrow before vanishing into thin air. Late-night caretakers have reported hearing faint crying in the bedrooms upstairs, as if someone is mourning a long-lost love. Another story speaks of phantom music drifting from the ballroom, where ghostly laughter and the sound of dancing feet echo, as though a long-forgotten party continues in the afterlife. Shadows have been seen moving behind the curtains, and portraits seem to follow visitors with their eyes. From ghostly apparitions and flickering lights to strange whispers and sudden chills, the Wheeler Stokeley mansion remains a haunting reminder of Indiana's eerie past. Its beauty hides an unsettling truth. Within its walls, time stands still, and the spirits of the past refuse to be forgotten.